Other than the Panthers, are the Toronto Maple Leafs the biggest threat for the Lightning in the Atlantic Division? Plus, are the Detroit Red Wings ready to take a step forward? It's part 2 of our Atlantic Division previews on today's Locked On Lightning.
You're Locked On Lightning, your daily podcast on the Tampa Bay Lightning, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Lightning your first listen of the day every single day. We are your free daily Tampa Bay Lightning podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we want to begin with a shout out to our everydayers. Those of you who tune into every single show, every single day, we love you and we appreciate the support you give us week in and week out. I'm Nick Morgan, and I am joined by the Marvin Harrison Jr. to my dropping balls in the middle of a route, Greg Stephen. Greg, happy Friday, buddy.
Happy Friday. Yeah, what's going on with Marvin Harrison? Oh, man.
He got his touchdown at the end of the game. He just, A, stopped trying on an interception, and B, kind of rugby pitched a ball to the other team.
Yep.
It's okay. It happens to the best of us.
I guess so. But we're here continuing the Atlantic preview, and we got two teams to talk about. One was a juggernaut and might still be, and one is kind of an outlier.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see both of these teams in action next year because they're kind of the wild cards in the division. Also, exciting day. We are kicking off our Fan of the Week segment. We've got a great interview with a great fan. We'll tell you a little bit more about him later on. You'll see some of his awesome memorabilia collection. We're excited for this, and we're excited to meet more of you throughout the year. Big show coming up today. First, though, want to mention today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. All right, Greg, let's continue our Atlantic Division preview. We are looking at each of the rivals for the Tampa Bay Lightning this year, and we're going to kick it off with the team that won the Atlantic Division last year, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of all the teams in the division, they're the ones that made the most offseason noise, and it was by a player who left the team, Mitch Marner, not there anymore. The core four is no more. Greg, how do you think that impacts the Lightning or the Maple Leafs outlook for this year?
It's hard to say, obviously, but I'm thinking they regret lightly, and I think they're going to not realize how much Marner was putting the team on his back in some of these circumstances. I'm thinking the Maple Leafs are not as good as they were when they had Marner. That's where I'm going.
I'm very torn on this because I'm with you, and I was with you for a long time. I think that loss hits them more than they think it's going to. We did a roundtable with some of the other Atlantic Division Locked On hosts this past week. You're going to see it here on the channel next week. But David at Locked On Maple Leafs, kind of sold me a little bit on the point. He's like, look, we lost Mitch Marner. We got basically sort of three new players in return who aren't Mitch Marner, but depth guys. And he's saying, you know what? There's not Marner. But there's still Austin Matthews. There's still Morgan Riley. There's still William Nylander. There's still, a solid foundation of a lot of really good players on this team. He's like, I don't understand how everybody is all of a sudden all out on the Maple Leafs being a threat in the division and in the East. And I kind of agree with him because the Leafs still are loaded, and they still have obviously three of the big four. And I think what the Marner situation happened is now they had some more room to maybe address some of the other weak spots on the roster. I love the pickup of Matthias Maselli. He looked a couple of years ago like he was going to be a huge star in Arizona. Kind of fizzled out a little bit last year in Utah. but he's a player that I think, second, third line can kind of find his stride. I love the fact that Nicholas Waugh comes back in that sort of sign and trade. I think he's a really good bottom six guy, and the bottom six I think has been a weak point for Toronto the past couple of years. So I agree. I'm not necessarily thinking they're going to be the division favorites, Greg, but I think that they still have a very, very, very good team with a handful of legitimate NHL stars, and I think some underrated sneaky pickup to help them with the depth. I still think they're right there as a threat.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think they're gonna fall off the map entirely. And I understand the point that the Locked On host had made. But I would counter with the fact that look, he gets hurt a lot, I feel like, for a guy his age. And Marner was able to shoulder that weight. And do you trust, just really like looking at their forward depth? I'm thinking like Nylander and Nyes. And that's kind of like, I mean, maybe Domi. I don't know. The rest are to me
John
like,
Tavares is still there.
would you say?
John Tavares is still there.
Yeah.
He's not the John Tavares from a few years ago, but he still had like 74 points last year.
Yeah, sure. I just think like without a guy like Marner speeding all around the ice and making those kind of plays, and let's say one of the other guys is out, is he that guy that can come in and fill in that void? I don't know. I really think it's going to hurt them more than everyone. Even the people saying like it's going to hurt them. I think it's going to hurt them more than that. I think it's going to be very obvious. And to me, also I almost said the Lightning, just like you. The Leafs
team.
Their goaltending pool to me is so poor, and I know a lot of people get behind Wall and Stolarz has been okay. I just don't see either of them as being like win a cup goaltenders personally, and I also do believe that you need an elite goaltender to win a cup. That's just my opinion. I don't think they have one.
Goaltending, and I was about to mention goaltending because that's the X factor with this team.
Mm-hmm.
Goaltending is just so weird because you have a player like Wall who was sort of a journeyman everywhere he's been, who all of a sudden, or not a journeyman, but basically just kind of like an AHL guy, and then kind of just pops in with a decent season. And then, last year, decent. You have a guy like Anthony Stolarz who looked like at one point he was going to be the guy sort of in the postseason last year. But that was kind of an outlier. It's just, I feel like there's question marks with goaltending, but goaltending is just so weird, Greg. And you mentioned you need an elite goaltender to win a Stanley Cup. You look at Vegas for a couple of years ago and Aiden Hill and how it was just like some guy who then got hot, who then won a Stanley Cup, and who then it was like one of the top goalies in the league. So it's just weird how, you can kind of be a nobody and then you have one good run and it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, something's clicked. And here, this guy who played for like 6 other teams as a backup or a third string is now all of a sudden like the franchise goalie to build around. Joseph Woll's actually younger than I thought. I think he's only like 27, but yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I look at them and they're not like standout names. And, they also haven't done anything that makes me think like, oh yeah, like that's their goalie of the future. Mm-hmm. But that's to me the biggest X factor. If they can get like it's the decent level of goaltending they've gotten the past few years, I think they're good. If one of them is back to replacement level, that's when I think maybe there's more of a concern. Let's go to the one player from the Maple Leafs that you would love to have on the Lightning right now.
This was not even hard for me. Matthew Nyes, the guy is feisty. He's a good leader. He's physical. He does it all, really. I mean, we've seen him make some remarkable plays for the Leafs in recent years, and he just seems like a good guy overall too. And yeah, put him on the Lightning. Let's see what he does.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be cute again, and there's a lot of players from the core three that you probably could have picked. The one guy that I have my eye on right now is Easton Cowan. That is their first round pick from a couple years ago. He was kind of a wild pick. He was picked a little bit higher than a lot of people thought he was going to go in the draft, but he has jumped into camp this year. And with all that roster talent that we just talked about that the Lightning have, he is apparently really threatening to make a spot. Really threatening to take a spot there and cement a guy. I love his game. I think there's a little bit of a sandpaper element to it, but at the same time, he's somebody with a lot of skill who can score. I mean, he's just kind of a nice little Swiss Army knife player that I think is going to have the ability to play in a top line and be really, really good at it. So Easton Cowan's my pick. Matthew Nye is your pick. We're going youth. We're building up the youth system here, Greg.
Yeah, we're retooling on the fly.
Yeah. Hey, you know who else is retooling on the fly and has been for the past 10 years? The Detroit Red Wings. Last time they made the playoffs was against the Lightning, all the way back in 2016. Is this finally the year their loaded prospect system makes the jump and gets the Wings back into the playoffs? We'll debate coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. FanDuel is great because it fits however you like to bet. You can build player props, you can build a same-game parlay, or my personal favorite thing to do, jump into the action live as it unfolds with some in-game bets. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keep an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little zest to your Sundays. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. Again, FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Welcome back to Locked on Lightning. Nick Morgan here with Greg Stephen. And Greg, our Atlantic Division preview series takes us to the Motor City, the Detroit Red Wings. Oh boy, this is a little bit of a wild card team here. One of the best prospect pools in the NHL right now. Guys absolutely loaded with talent in every position. Some of them have already made the jump to the NHL and are making a big impact already. But for the Red Wings, it just seems like they can't get everything going at once. They haven't made the playoffs since 2016 when they bounced out to the Lightning in the first round. That was Pavel Datsyuk's last year. They came close a few times the past couple of years, was notoriously one game away 2 years ago when John Tortorella in Philadelphia did I didn't know that game was tied goalie pull with 10 minutes left in the game. You had last year where they had a playoff spot for a very long time and then had a very bad March. Greg, do you see anything from this team that makes you think the playoff drought is going to end this year?
No.
All right.
Not even a little. Other than the shining light of Patrick Kane, I don't know. I actually was really high on them the last couple years, and just watching some of the games they lose, I'm like, what is going on with this team? Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, I'm going to say it again, just like I just did for the Leafs. Let's look at their goaltenders. Like, what is going on over there?
That has been the disaster point for the past few years. And to Steve Yzerman's credit, he's been trying. Of course, one of his first moves as GM, he took a big swing on Alex Nedeljkovic. He took a big swing a couple of years later on Ville Husso, who looked to be an up and coming player from St. Louis. He's tried to go the depth route a couple of times. He's gone James Reimer, who had a good year. He's gotten Cam Talbot this year. The prize guy is John Gibson, who he got in a trade. Stevie Y's trying. I mean, it seems like, everybody remembers that Steve Yzerman in Tampa took that big swing on Anders Lindback to be the goalie of the future. And then he got Ben Bishop. And then then things changed a little bit. But, it seems like the Red Wings have had like 5 Anders Lindbacks and still haven't gotten to their Ben Bishop yet.
Yeah. I mean, the thing for me, I think also is they have so many great forwards. And to me, I would see this team on paper finishing ahead of the Canadians, I think, the last couple of years even. Mm-hmm. But they just don't show that. And I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I have the Canadians and the Sens finishing higher than this team. I do. And if I'm saying that, that means I have the Leafs, the Cats, and the Lightning ahead of them as well, right? So, yeah, I think they're going to be one of the worst in this division for sure.
There's a little bit of panic in Detroit too, because I think that was the thing where they were like, okay, well, we're bad right now, but we're probably on par, maybe a little bit ahead of Ottawa, and we're definitely a few years ahead of Montreal. And then who made the playoffs last year? Both of those teams. So I think the pressure's on a little bit in Detroit. I think, and for the first time in a very long time, you're starting to see people around the league sort of question Steve Yzerman's plan in Detroit. And, obviously a lot different situation going there than there was when he came to Tampa. He didn't have Steven Stamkos and Victor Hedman and also Martin St. Louis in the fold when he went to Detroit. He was kind of building that from scratch. So I think he's gotten a little bit more leash, but I go back to the depth of the prospect pool and how they look this year, I think is going to really tell you the direction that this team is going. Obviously Mo Seider on the blue line is already, I think, a huge star. I think you've seen Lucas Raymond take strides towards becoming a big star. I think if they take another leap forward, there's a little bit of sigh of relief there that you finally now have 2 blue chippers to build around. One guy that I absolutely really love is Simon Edvinsson. You'll love him, Greg. He's 6'6".
Big boy.
He's a guy that is very highly rated, was kind of the top defensive prospect in hockey for a long time, made his NHL debut last year, looked pretty solid for it being his first year. They've also got Axel Sandin Palika, who's looking to be like a very good defenseman. It's just those guys have to come in and then be blue chips. They have to be blue chip NHL players. And I think that's kind of been the frustration for Detroit the past couple of years is they've had a lot of guys that's like, okay, these are star prospects. They've come in and haven't exactly lived up to expectations. This time around with guys like Raymond and Edvinsson and Seider, you're actually seeing them kind of develop into really, really, really good NHL players. Now you need the rest of the pieces to kind of come together at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see if they can prove us wrong. My hopes are not so high for them. But let me give you my player that I would steal, and it's Mo Seider. Let me tell you, what a guy. What a star. And what do the Lightning need right now? A really good defenseman. Mo Seider. That's who I'm taking.
Yeah, and he's a guy, right-handed shot would pair really well with Victor Hedman. He was going to go my pick, too. So now I'm going to do something a little bit different. Nice. I'm going to look just at my favorite player on the Red Wings, and that's Dylan Larkin.
Nice.
So underappreciated, I think, in the NHL. Does a lot of things really, really well. Not exactly like the surefire top line star, but he's just really good at a lot of different things. Really good penalty killer. Really good setup man on the power play. He's fast. Of course, a lot of people remember he notoriously has the record for fastest lap in the NHL All-Star game. You saw him in the Four Nations for Team USA this past season. I think just how good he is in a lot of different situations. He's a player that I would absolutely love to have on the Lightning, shoring up that middle of the lineup. Absolutely fun veteran, absolutely great player to watch, and a great leader too.
Agreed. Yeah, I love Larkin. He's on my fantasy team too.
Well, there you go. All the more reason to cheer for him, I guess. If you want to cheer for the Red Wings, Greg.
Sometimes I will.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, fun segment coming up next. It's our fan of the week. Greg, why don't you tell us what we're about to see here in a second?
Look, fan of the week is going to be so fun. We're going to do it every Friday. If you want to be on the show, talk to us, show us why you're a huge Lightning fan, maybe give us a few predictions of your own. Let us know in the comments and let us know why you're a big Lightning fan. Send us a DM, send us a message. And what we'll do is we'll bring you on the show. We'll chat a little bit just for fun. And you can tell us why you are a huge Bolts fan, because we would love to see some fans' collections and learn about more people who love this team just like us. And, open a dialogue with people. I love talking and debating about hockey. So this is a good way to do that and involve the community. And I'm looking forward to this first one to share with everyone.
Yeah, it's going to be with, you've probably seen him on Twitter, Bolts Card Collector. Mm-hmm. Really cool guy, really good collection of memorabilia. Greg's going to be back in just 1 second with that interview. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Locked On Lightning. I'm Greg Stephen, and today we are doing the first Fan of the Week, a new segment we'll be doing at the end of every week. And today we have Tony, aka Bolts Card Collector. Tony, how is it going? Thank you for joining us on the show.
I'm so excited to be here, and thank you, Greg, so much for having me. I think you and we got to meet for the first time. I followed your work, and I think you followed me as well. So just goes to show on like Instagram and the communities and just the Bolts Nation in general, we're a pretty knit, close fan base, and we definitely have shared a lot of good memories so far. So I'm looking forward to sharing what I have as far with the fan base in regards to card collecting and just Tampa Bay Lightning in general.
Absolutely. And I know you're a huge fan, as are we. And what drew me to you is you're just like an awesome guy, but two, your collection is just remarkable. And I love your posts. You go into such detail about what you've collected and like how you've gotten them. And, that's why I really wanted you to come on, because I think you should show the rest of us Lightning fans your collection. At least some of it. We would love to see some. If you want to share, please share everything that you can, because it's just so cool.
Absolutely. And you know what? I became a fan of the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2015. And since then, it's just been a pleasure following this team. And it's just been a winning culture. And the people, the organization is just top notch people, and just love everybody that I've ran across so far. So I got started in card collecting when my son went to McDonald's one day and decided that we would get a Happy Meal because they were giving Pokemon cards away. And just about across the street there was a card shop, so we're like, let's go check that out and see what they have there. Maybe we can buy some more packs. Well, while I was there, I saw like, they didn't just have Pokemon cards, they had like all the different types of sports, and they had hockey boxes. And I was like, no way, this is cool. So I started digging through the hockey boxes, and I'm like, I wonder if they have Tampa Bay Lightning stuff. Right. Big Bolts Nation. I love, I'm a musician too, as so are you. So I even wrote a song, and I'm just really amped up, and I start digging through the box, and I come across like a Vinny LeCavier jersey card, and I got so excited. And being in Maryland at the time, who's looking for Tampa Bay Lightning cards? Nobody. Right. So I was able to get a really good deal on these cards and basically steal them for a few bucks a piece, And then that got me started. I got on my Rosati, and I said, should I start a card collector site? And I got some good feedback, and some people said, yes, do it. So I posted my first card in February in 2024. And then from there, it's just been tweaking things and making it look nice. And from there, I'm also adding content as far as, showing up to games, pre-games, and that kind of stuff. So I'd love to just be able to share some of the cards I have with you.
Yeah, please. And that was the other thing I wanted to mention. You do show up to the arena and do little events sometimes. And that's something we're also going to be doing. So definitely everyone should
Yes.
keep their eye out for a little Bolts card collector Locked On Lightning collab. I think that's going to definitely happen in the future too.
That's going to be awesome. I love to give cards away to kids and opposing fans even. I'll bring like packs of cards from opposing teams and give those. I gave it to this one kid at a game and we were just murdering them. I think it was Pittsburgh and it was like 6-0 and the kid just wasn't looking happy and I'm like, I know, I've been there too. So I asked the father, like, is it okay if I give your son a pack of cards? And I gave him the cards and he lit right up and he's like, thank you so much. He came over and gave me a hug. And I'm telling you, that was just a wonderful moment. And
it's so nice to spread just hockey with everyone. It's just such a great thing.
Yeah, it is. So I'm looking forward to meeting fans and met so many of my followers too out and about. And I love to give the gift of cards and it just brings people joy and it puts a smile on your face. So without further ado, I'll just show you some cards that have some meaning to me that are very special to me. So as you know, I'm a big Yanni Gourde fan, right? So
yeah,
I got this from a Maryland card show, this Yanni Gourde. It has red ink, which is a little bit unique. And it's kind of in a shadow box. So that lightning bolt's actually behind the signature. And I always have loved this card. It's kind of different and you don't see it very often. So that's one of my favorites. A huge Yanni Gourde fan. I got a Martin St. Louis card too, a gold variant rookie card, which is also a kind of a hard card to find. And I remember getting this for pretty reasonable, maybe 10-12 bucks. That's the thing with me. So I don't spend like huge amounts of money on cards. I like to keep my limits. Like, if I'm going to buy a nice card, I might spend 30 to 40, but I typically don't run out and buy like an $800 card per se. So if you're just beginning in collecting cards, I recommend highly. If you want to get up and coming players, like I have a Max Crozier flagship card, you could probably get this for a couple bucks, right? Nice clean card, rookie.
Yeah.
And we all hope that our rookies and our top prospects become great, players, because in the future that will also, they become valuable. But
Absolutely.
I don't do this just because of the value of it. I do it because I love the content. The cards are beautiful. Like here's a Connor Geeky card that is Metal Universe, it's called. And you can see here it's a rookie card and it's really has a really nice sheen to it. So I take care of my cards. I top load them. I put them in the little sleeves. And when I give them out to people, I like to keep them nice and fresh too. So
love that. They look so sharp too. I was a card collector, not for sports, but I just love the art element of things. So I love the design of some of those. They're really cool. I want to ask you about that Yanni card. Was that a part of the jersey in there?
No, that wasn't a part of the jersey. It's just, I'll put it back up here. It's just actually just a shadow box with like a gold bolt behind it. So cool.
That's really cool. I like that a lot. You have to show me that one in person one day.
I will. Yeah. Another one that a prized possession of mine. I have a Young Guns and it's a graded Braden Point card. It's a PSA 10. It's
a PSA 10.
Yeah. I won this on a Whatnot show. Whatnot's a live platform where you can buy cards and buy into card breaks. I'd like to go on there for singles, but this gentleman had this card up and we bid, and I remember pressing like bid up really fast. And I think I ended up paying like $80 for it, but this is my first really, really nice card, I'd say.
That's so cool though. I mean, a PSA 10, for anyone who doesn't know, is just a perfectly graded card, which is, I mean, honestly, it's almost impossible to find for anything, really.
Yeah. And then my first run-in with my first Stamkos card, because I'm a huge Stamkos fan, was this first signed card that I got right here. Beautiful card, absolutely stunning. I think I spent $30 on it, and I got this from Sunshine Break. So if you're out there, Sunshine, he's a Panther fan and a Panther season ticket holder, but they're the sweetest people. And one day I would love to come out there for a game in enemy territory and just have a great time. So
that would be awesome.
Yep. And then let's see what else I have. And then speaking of Stamkos, I just recently got his base rookie right here, and I got this for like $30, and it's in really good shape.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it would be a PSA 10, but I've always wanted to have that flagship rookie. And I have like 2 more cards I want to share.
Yeah, please.
There are some card collectors in our market that have the most amazing Tampa Bay Lightning cards. Bay Hockey Cards is one of them. It's unbelievable, the collection that guy has. So I'm kind of like a mid collector compared to some of these people. It's unbelievable. This is a beautiful card here, a Stamkos signed Day with the Cup. So Day with the Cup is like, I think it's every 2,400 case or something like that. They're hard to come by, let alone a signed one. So I saw this at a local card shop here in the Bay Area, and I saw that. I'm like, I have to have that. Here's my wallet. So I think that was an $80 card. It's worth more than that, I would say.
I bet.
And then one of my most special cards. So, and talking about Bolts Nation, how we have it better than anybody out there. Just go to a game and go to Thunder Alley and pregame. It's just a beautiful setting. The weather's beautiful in the winter. It's just, this is a dream come true. So we went through some hard times when we moved here, and we got displaced by the hurricanes, and we were homeless for 2 months, and it was not fun. I don't know. I think we had our realtor post something about how we made it here and what our story was. And when they posted that, it got attention from the Lightning organization to the point they reached out and said, we would like to help that couple and give them some free tickets. Well, lo and behold, Sonia Bryson Kirksey, the voice of the Tampa Bay Lightning, reached out, and she got us a pair of tickets. And I brought a friend. She gave me this card in person, and my son got to meet her and wear the Stanley Cup rings that she had. She was so unbelievably sweet, and I'm very grateful. And I keep this pinned to my profile because, she signed the back of this too. And you don't see these cards, by the way.
I bet, yeah.
So this means so much to me. Bolts Nation, I just love all the people that I've dealt with from the organization. Some of the DJs that I've, crossed paths with. Been able to meet so many amazing people like yourself, Greg. So thanks so much for having me. I'm just glad to share my story with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing with everyone. And I want to go back to Sonia as well. Like, she is truly wonderful. That is a great human being, excellent singer, and she is the voice of Bolts Nation. So if you don't follow Sonia, you got to follow her as well. Again, thanks for having us. Before we go, prediction for the Lightning this year. Will they get out of the first round? Yes or no? If you don't think they'll make the playoffs, yes or no?
I think we'll get to the playoffs, and I think we may get past the first round depending on who we end up playing. That's what my thoughts are. I'm really excited to see the bottom six and what happens there. I'm hoping that we have a little more defensive measures this year, and I'm really looking forward to see what our power play does. We've always have a strong power play. I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. I want to see Hagel healthy. I want to see a good playoff run this year, and I know Vasi came out and said he's not going to put up with this embarrassment in front of people. So I thought that was cool, man. Some of these players have so much character. Kucherov, there's so many great players. We're so stacked, as you guys said, and I love watching your guys' show. So I definitely thank you for keeping me, a busy working professional, a parent, up to speed with what's going on. So we appreciate that as well. Our family does.
Thank you so much for coming on. And everyone, we are going to dive into that Vasi interview that he just mentioned next week as well. So Stay tuned, and we will see you next time on Locked On Lightning. If you want to be fan of the week next week, just let us know in the comments why you're a huge Lightning fan, and maybe you'll come on the show. Thanks for watching. See you next time.